Good morning and welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today. As always, I say the same thing every time. Should I change my intro? But I kind of like it. Today's topic is going to be the passing of Kevin Samuels. I didn't know the man personally, but I did watch his podcast, and man, there's going to be a void to fill for sure. But we will get to that right after this. Like and subscribe. Do it now while you're waiting. You have to be strong enough to endure these things. You have to approach women. With today's social media, she's constantly being hit on. Women are always in the game. You have to stay focused. We are men. That's what we do. All right, let's get after it. Kevin Samuels. I watched a lot of his podcasts. He was direct and straightforward. Kind of like myself. Except, of course, he had a larger following. But hey, we're going to get there. And thank you to my 1,375 subscribers. You are the best. Without you, I wouldn't be here. Okay. A lot of people call Kevin a misogynist. I've been called a misogynist. So I understand. He wasn't a misogynist. Any man nowadays who is direct with women gets called mean, a misogynist, a bigot, etc., etc. Our society has become so soft that someone like Kevin, who speaks out and tells directly what his opinion is or what he believes or what the statistics are, which he did all of that, it pisses people off. There are very few people nowadays that can take direct information, facts, because they want it softened up. They want to feel like they're special, they're unique. Well, we are all unique and we are all special, but as humans, we have certain characteristics which can be categorized, and that's what he would do. He would tell the women that were a certain age that, they better buy a dog because they done used up their best years partying and sleeping around, and for the chances of them to find a high-value man or someone that or let's say the kind of man that they want, the six-figure man, the six-pack abs, and the 6 feet tall, their chances were pretty slim because they were 30 years old. They done had a kid or two by a couple different baby daddies, and men like that are not looking for women that have been ran through, as they call it. I mean, it's just a fact, but they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear the truth. And I understand that. Years ago, when I was running around and not doing what I'm doing today and partying, I didn't want someone to tell me what I needed to hear. I didn't want someone to tell me, hey, Mark, you need to settle down and stop the partying, get serious about your life, and make something of yourself. I didn't hang around with people like that because I didn't want to hear the truth. I hung around with people who told me what I wanted to hear, what felt good to hear. And Kevin didn't do that to people because actually that's the opposite of love. If you love someone, you tell them what they need to hear. If you see them screwing up or messing up their life, you step out and tell them. You love them enough to piss them off. You love them enough to take the chance of losing your friendship or your intimate relationship with them. And that's what Kevin did. Contrary to what a lot of people think, the people who would call him a misogynist, he was loving women by telling them what they needed to hear. Because if you don't know where you are, you're never going to get to where you want to go. And you have to figure out what you're capable of doing and where you're capable of going. But most people don't want to hear that. They want, like I said, you to dress it up. Tell them all the nice stuff. Tell them that they're okay and life's wonderful. It's just like someone who is extremely obese. What do they call that? Fat shaming? If I'm thin, which I am, and sometimes I've been thinner, people will tell me, man, you look thin. That's okay. But if you tell someone they're overweight, it's almost like you're being mean. But if you love someone and you tell them, look, buddy, you really need to do something about your weight because it's a real health risk. It's almost like you're being fat shaming. Sometimes it's good to be shamed for certain things. I was shamed for certain things in my life. I don't know if I call it shaming, but they would tell me about it. But as I said years ago, I wouldn't listen. I have friends today and associates today that tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. That's the value of a mentor. Whether you're a man or a woman, someone who will keep you on track, because it's very difficult for us to see ourselves as we are. We have the person we want to believe we are. We have the person that we want the world to see and think we are. And then we have who we really are. You really have to have a mentor to be able to see yourself clearly. Not that he has to tell you what to do and who you are, but if you sit and talk with him and tell him what's going on in your life, your problems, your challenges, he is like a reflective mirror. He will reflect back to you who you are. And he sometimes doesn't even have to say a word, but you can see yourself better reflected back from someone else. I really don't know how that works, but I know it works. Another thing you might want to be aware of, if you see someone that's doing something or acting in a certain way that pisses you off, there's a real good chance that you're doing something similar in some area of your life that you don't want to accept or that you don't want to look at. So you project that on someone else. Every time someone does something that pisses me off, I'll give you an example. I live in an area where the obesity rate is probably 95%, and it gets on my nerves, okay? Part of that is selfishness because I would like there to be more available women around here, but I'm not into the big girls, so it's pretty slim here, but there's a few. Another part of that is I don't like fat in myself, so I see that in other people. Obviously it's there, but it's not the people that I'm angry about. It's the reflecting back to me what I don't like in myself. I like to keep my body weight around 10% body fat, or 12. I'm probably about 10 to 12 right now, but actually I like the way I look better at 8, but it's difficult to stay there. So unless you're competing or something, it's kind of pointless. But the point is, I don't like to eat junk food. I don't like to gain weight. So when I see that in the outer world, it aggravates me. But it's not those people. It's in me. Everything happens within us. Everything you feel or decide to think happens within you. People want to believe it's out there. It's not out there. It's in here. No one can make you feel or think any way you don't want to feel or think. That choice is yours. So if you say, oh, you make me feel like, and I've said that too because it's a common expression among people, you make me feel sad, or you make me feel less than, or you make me feel like I'm nobody. No, they're not making you feel anyway. They're just reflecting back to you how you feel about yourself. It's strange how that works. Most people don't take an inventory. Very important to look within yourself. But what I liked about Kevin was, as I said, he spoke directly and straightforward. Most people, the majority of people, can't handle that. Even if you didn't agree with what he said, you need to take a look and see how true it is. Check the stats yourself, because mostly what he spoke about was statistically proven. And of course, statistics can be manipulated, but some of what he spoke about and proved statistically was blatantly obvious, but yet people still don't want to accept it. It's like the alcoholic who's still drinking. He says, I don't have a problem. I'm only drinking a 12-pack a day. Joe over there drinks a case a day. They compare themselves to a worser Yeah, I don't know if that's a word or not. A case that's worse than theirs. A worst case scenario, a worser case scenario. You get the point. And that's what we do in many other aspects of our life. Well, I'm not in very good shape, but look at Bill over there. Man, he can't even hardly walk up those steps. Why compare yourself to someone like that? Compare yourself to yourself. Be better than you were yesterday. But as I said at the beginning of this video, there will be a great void. Someone will fill it, of course. I was surprised to see him go and saddened. And I've thought a lot about him since he's been gone. And as I said, I didn't know him personally, didn't know anything about him other than his podcast. And I wasn't an avid, I was a subscriber of his, but I didn't watch him every day. I had a hard time. I couldn't watch him every day because it sometimes when you throw the facts out there, it gets a little bleak and depressing. So it's like a lot of the red pill community stuff. I can't take a steady diet of that because it's easy to start getting negative and thinking women are all bad. And that's not the case. Women are not the enemy. Women are not bad. Women are just different than you and I. And we have to accept the differences. And if you accept the differences, then you can change something about what you don't like, which usually emanates from within yourself. I'm going to go. That's all I have time for today. And thanks for joining me. If you'd like to get my help personally, my website is marksinspiration.com, or you can email me. Hit the PayPal or Cash App donate button if you'd like to donate to the channel. I appreciate it. Makes me feel like I'm appreciated. I know I am. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow.